Hey, we are two Star Wars nerds. We just finished watching Return of the Jedi, and in our first pass through of Why We Love the OT, today we're going to be talking about Anakin's redemption at the end of Return of the Jedi.
Yes.
So why don't you just start us off?
Well, yeah, Return of the Jedi is my favorite movie and my favorite moment in Star Wars. I think there's a lot, so it's hard to say for sure, but I think it's the moment where Luke takes off Vader's helmet and Vader says, "You were right about me." Especially remembering back what Padme said and what Luke's been saying from the beginning, that there's good in my father. And so that's such a powerful moment, and I think it just brings us the story full circle. We see that Anakin was a chosen one, even though he took this, whether you want to call it a detour or it was part of the plan, in becoming a Sith. But in the end, he's the one who defeated Palpatine. He brought balance to the Force, and he was the chosen one. So it just makes my heart so happy to see that full circle of his life, seeing him start as a little boy, seeing him go through that angst, that teenage phase, seeing him, fall into the dark side, seeing him become an evil man, but then seeing his son have faith, just like his mom did, just like Luke's mom did.
Yeah.
That there's good in Vader and Anakin's still in there. When no one else believed him, there was no one else really saying there's good in him, except for, I think, just Anakin or Luke and Padme.
Yeah.
And so I think it's just a beautiful moment that Luke's the one who gets to be there and witness that, and that Anakin's the one who saved his son to bring balance, and now his son can start a new Jedi Order with balance rather than how it used to be with the corruption. It just sets up this beautiful place to take the story. So yeah, it's my favorite moment, I think, like I said, in Star Wars. Is just because I love Anakin, I love the Skywalker family, and so to see that redemption and see that no matter how far off he went, he still did what was said in the Phantom Menace. Like he defeated Palpatine and brought balance.
Yeah, and I'm right there with you. I think this is incredible. We know that George had a loose treatment for the prequels at the original time of this movie, in 83. And I think, it's really cool how it all played out.
It's one big story. I love that.
It is. And I think this is, for us, I know this may offend people, but this is the end of the Skywalker saga for us. Because I think Anakin's redemption is the perfect end to that saga, and it continues with Luke later, but I think
and really Star Wars is Anakin Skywalker's story.
It is, yeah. And obviously in future Star Wars, we're going to branch away from Anakin's story, but at the core, Star Wars starts and ends with Anakin. And, I'm thinking about this scene in particular with Anakin being a slave on Tatooine as a boy, entering the Jedi Order, and he's never really free. He just kind of changes masters, if you will.
Yep.
He's told that he cannot give in to his emotions. He cannot have true freedom and be a human. And he has to submit to a lot of things, and Palpatine, as Sidious, is manipulating him. And so really he is a slave on Tatooine, he's a slave in the Jedi Order, and he's held back. Then he becomes a slave to Palpatine.
Yep.
And even the way Palpatine would torture and abuse him to basically keep him in check and keep him in line, he becomes a slave to his anger. And he, with Luke, you see that same thread of he wants to pull Luke in to rule the galaxy together, much like he wanted to rule the galaxy with Padme. And so again, it's this like, son, let me rule with you. And at the very end of his life, when he defeats Sidious, when he kills his master, and him and his son are reconciled. And especially that scene where he's like, I want to look upon you with my own eyes for once, and he takes off the helmet and Luke's crying. what's crazy is he didn't get to see Luke as a baby. He didn't get to see him growing up. So that's the first time he's truly seen his son.
Yeah.
And that's the moment he's free. And then obviously at the end of Return of the Jedi, you know, we see him appear as a Force ghost, and we see him being honored with almost like a Viking burial, like a Jedi burial, you know, being torched and stuff. And even with that, you know, him being burned, I think it's ironic, and maybe this is intentional, that he entered the suit with fire on Mustafar, and then he exits the suit with fire. Yeah. And it's like I just love all these parallels, and I think it is a great redemption. What
I really love too about when Palpatine is shocking Luke, even with Vader's mask on, you can see his emotion. Like, you can't really see his face, but they just did such a good job of filming that, because you're like, the way he's looking back and forth, and you feel his pain, you feel the tension in him. And it's so cool that they humanized him in that suit for a moment. Like, I love that.
Yeah, it is really, really wonderful. And you know what? With this, we think this is covering Anakin's redemption really well.
Yes.
Let us know in the comments what you think about Anakin's redemption in Return of the Jedi. We'd love to have discourse about this.
Yes.
So with that, we are two Star Wars nerds, and may the Force be with you always.